What up, fam? I was just doing a TikTok. Fellow young person Carrie B here with your dope budget news. You did?
No.
Shade. A lot of you have been asking what's in the budget for you. I mean, us, fellow young people. Here's the tea.
Young people can look at this budget tonight and know that this government has got their backs to get them into a job, not for them to spend a life on welfare.
Okay, real talk. Research shows that young people cop the worst of recessions. They're often the first fired and the last hired. Big yikes.
We've been hit so hard across so many aspects of our lives. Youth unemployment is at 16.2% compared to 7.1% for the rest of the population. The jobs aren't there at the moment.
So your bro Frido's bribing bosses to take on more young people with a $4 billion wage subsidy scheme. Yo. Employers that hire unemployed 16 to 29-year-olds will score $200 a week or $100 a week for 30 to 35-year-olds. That'll last for 12 months.
And it will support 450,000 jobs, Mr. Speaker.
Slay. J Money's also making it rain apprenticeships.
Stop it.
We commit an additional $1.2 billion to create 100,000 new apprenticeships.
Bosses who hire new apprentices will be able to get 50% of that apprentice's wage from the gov. Now that's Gucci.
But it's not all yes queens and wops, babe.
The problem is that after those 12 months of support ends, there may not be a job for that young person. There isn't a long-term plan.
Speaking of the long term, there's not a whole lot in there for future challenges like climate change. Salty.
It seems like the inaction on climate change is not really listening to young people's concerns about their future. It's great that young people can get a job, but if there isn't a climate, if there isn't a planet, well, there are no jobs to begin with.
And that squad, it ain't Fleek, Liddy, or Gucci.
It's a real pity our young person wasn't available today.
I apologise to young people.
Did you
everywhere.
dab?
I tried. Economist Angela Jackson joins us now. Angela, the PM says that young people can look at this budget and know that this government has got their backs and to get them into a job. Will the measures do that?
Look, there certainly is a lot in this budget for young people. We'll start with the bill, $1 trillion. But there are wage subsidies, there are apprenticeships, there are a lot of support for young people. But there needed to be. We know that through this recession, while young people only account for about a quarter of the labour market, they've lost about over half the jobs. So it's really hit young people hard. And they've come up, with some good policies, I think, last night to help get young people into work. What was missing, I think, was some of those direct supports for jobs where young people have lost work, especially around hospitality and accommodation. About 120,000 Australian young people have lost work in that industry, and there was no support for it last night.
The Greens are also saying that this is a recipe for more temporary, low-wage and casual work. Is that a risk?
Look, it is. So the way this wage subsidy is going to work is it's $200 for every young person, and young people are under the age of 30, which I think is a fair assessment. I'd prefer that definition to be around 40, but we'll take 30. So anything around $200, but that's whether you employ someone for 20 hours a week or 40 hours a week. So there's a real incentive there for employers to create part-time jobs, which might not produce enough money for people to live on. So that's a real risk with this package.
Yo, Ajax, I'm auditioning for the next young person role at the project.
I should point out too, if we extend it to 40, then what you're seeing here, this is young person.
You mentioned there's lots of gaps in this budget. Who else missed out? Who else got donuts?
So we mentioned climate change, right? That's a big one. So it only got about 1% of the DOSH doled out last night. The other one was women. Women were the big losers last night. We really didn't see any initiatives to support jobs for women. It would have been great to have seen childcare front and centre. It creates good jobs for young women. It also allows some of us older women to get back to work sooner in terms of when we've got young kids. So women in particular really missed out last night.
Can I pick up your idea of not having direct support for jobs, that sort of thing? It seems like the philosophy of the budget is we're going to return money to people and to employers, and then we're going to trust them to spend it, basically. And that's based on the idea that things are going to be great, we might have a vaccine, so you should be confident, you should go out and spend. Yeah. Does it all fall apart if people, individually and as businesses, are not as confident as the government is?
This is this great economic sort of, I guess, ingredient called the magic dust of confidence that, you need in any economy. And there's certainly a lot in it last night. So you're right. It relies on businesses getting out and employing people and investing, and you and me spending those tax cuts. If we don't do that, then we're going to be in real trouble, and we're going to need the government to step in with more direct action to create jobs, which really, there was some last night, but probably not as much as many economists were hoping for.
Better let you go. Carrie's got to upload this interview to her MySpace. We'll see you soon.
That's pretty on fleek, Ange, I'm just saying. It's pretty on fleek.
That was wicked, Carrie. Well done.
Mate, we don't say wicked.